Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session on Microsoft Places. My name is Satyendra Sharma, and I am very excited to talk about Microsoft Places with you all today, the application that allows creation of smarter places for hybrid workplaces. We'll discuss about Microsoft Places and how it adds value in flexible work world that we all live in today and see its key features and action. By the end of this session, you'll understand how Microsoft Places fits into the AI-powered workplaces ecosystem and how Netrix can help you achieve your goal. So with that, let's get started. Here is the agenda for our session today. We'll start with a quick introduction, then we'll talk about the Microsoft Places overview. We'll dive into the value of Places, and then we will explore some key features of the Microsoft Places tool, and then we'll wrap it up with some takeaways and then share how Netrix can help you with Places. So, quick introduction. Who am I? My name is Satyendra Sharma. I am one of the field CTOs here at Netrix. My primary focus is digital workplace, and I've been with the company for over 8 years now. I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin with my family, and I just love modernizing collaboration and communication landscape for clients. I've been doing that for a very, very long time. Uh, so please connect me on LinkedIn if we aren't connected already. There is my QR code and the LinkedIn URL for your reference. So let's take a step back just to talk about the big picture of Places. We will cover these are the three main areas that we are going to cover today. We'll discuss the value of Microsoft Places, then we'll go through its key features and functionality, and then before all of that, we will just kind of take a step back and talk about the AI-powered workplaces that we are in today. So let's begin with the concept of AI-powered workplaces. Microsoft Places isn't just a standalone application. It is part of a broader story on how AI and the hybrid work trends are coming together to change how we work today. So, uh, I mean, this slide is a little outdated. Seems like a while back there were two trends that were reshaping how we work today, and they are broken down into two primary categories. Flexible work had become the new normal. Employees are working from anywhere, from their homes, from the offices, from traveling, from mobile devices, things like that, balancing remote and in-office work in ways we are seeing now that we had not seen before. And AI is rising still, especially generative AI is fundamentally changing on how work gets done today by augmenting human capabilities. These two trends set the stage for Microsoft's Places, and this is where hybrid workplace has become more prominent, and coordinating people together is become really important for the days where people do go into the offices. So fast forward to today, AI is defining trend, is tending the shape on how we work today. AI integration in daily tools means that the work is getting smarter. For example, Microsoft Teams has become the smart place to work now. Think of features like Copilot, summarizing of meeting, chatbot assisting with tasks. I mean, these are all tools that are making our work more productive and more smarter. In short, AI is augmenting our everyday workflows. Microsoft Teams and 365 apps leveraging AI are helping us to be more productive, work more intelligently. So how we work is evolving rapidly with AI assistance. Now we talk about where we work. And today, AI is also reshaping on where we work. Our physical workplaces, hybrid work means some days at home, some in office, and AI can improve the coordination between the two. We oftentimes focus on digital tools, but the physical workplaces still is very important. Where we work, meaning our offices, other locations, can now be optimized and enhanced by AI powered solutions. This is where Microsoft Places comes in. It's about using AI to make our physical offices work better for hybrid teams. So this is a big picture of AI powered workplaces. Um, we have it broken down. So obviously some of this content is from Microsoft. So there is key main categories. The coordinate productively. Microsoft Places helps people coordinate schedules and book workspaces easily. Um, it doesn't have to be a hassle to coordinate the days, the resources, the days when people do go into the offices. So the whole coordination aspect of it is becoming much easier with the introduction of Microsoft Places. Then we have modernize intelligently. Solutions like Teams, especially with Teams rooms devices, modernizing meeting and collaboration, making sure in-office and remote colleagues have an equally great experience. It's no longer about people who are physically in the office or people working from remote. When we are having these hybrid discussions, it needs to be an equal experience for both parties, people in the offices and people remote. And the last category we have is optimized effectively. With Places, Teams, and Copilot, organizations get insights into their spaces now, which is helping them optimize it, understanding how meeting rooms, how desks are actually used, so they can adjust accordingly to save cost, to make it easier for the users, and optimize overall for the organization. To summarize, Copilot, Teams, Microsoft Places work together to create a modern hybrid workplace where employees can coordinate schedules, connect seamlessly, and optimize how their office spaces are utilized. So before we go into value and features of Places, let's kind of take a quick look on the licensing. Anything we do in the Microsoft ecosystem has a license associated with it, and Places is no different. Places has the core Places features are available in all Microsoft 365 subscriptions. So these are your E3s, your E5s, your A5s, your even I believe the G licenses. The core Places capabilities are already included in your Microsoft licenses. For some premium features, there is a Spaces licenses now for premium features. We're not gonna make this a super license heavy conversation, but I just wanted to share some information on the different types of licensing available, just for awareness purposes. Spaces licenses used to be the shared device license. It's rebranded now. It's called Microsoft Space licenses. And of course, for all the intelligent AI Copilot capabilities, there is going to be a layer of Copilot that will unlock those intelligent and Copilot features to augment Microsoft Places and make it much more valuable for you. So core Microsoft Places is included in your 365 subscription. For premium features, you have a Spaces licenses. For all the AI driven features, intelligent recommendation, Copilot features, you need to have the Copilot license in addition to Places to make it work. So just wanted to give a quick recap on the licenses for you. And the next thing we also get with Places, there are some questions on how does Places protect my location data, right, from a privacy concerns? So there are guardrails for it. Users have an ability to opt in, opt out to share their location information. Places inherits your existing Microsoft 365 security and compliance policy. So everything we do in Places is built on top of the existing Microsoft security and compliance framework. Places does not track any real-time location, nor does it provide additional location granularity outside of the office. Like I said, it's meant to promote hybrid inside the organization productivity. So nothing gets shipped outside of the organization. And like I said, there is controls. There is controls everywhere, right? From a user perspective, from an admin perspective, manage data, manage visibility, manage check-in, all those things. There is tons of controls available with Places. So be rest assured everything we do in Places is backed by the known Microsoft security and compliance framework. So now that we know why, about a little bit about Microsoft Places, let's talk about the value. This section will cover the business value and the benefits of Microsoft Places. In other words, what outcomes can Places deliver, and why should you consider using it? So let's get into it. Places is in everywhere surfaces you work from today. So, like I said, Microsoft Places is not a standalone add-on separate client product, right? It is already embedded in the familiar tools that users are using on daily basis, whether that's their Outlook, that's their Microsoft Teams collaboration client, as well as Places has its own web interface for users to manage their work plan, for administrators to do any kind of administration work. There is a dedicated web interface for Places in addition to the Microsoft Outlook and Teams. And Places goes beyond simple booking app. It's not like your reservation software that you think of. There is three categories, three building blocks to this. So software, the Places application itself, with all the feature we'll discuss, is the software brains coordinating things inside your environment. Then you have peripherals. Think of bookable desks. So as people are going into the office on some days, you have a hoteling system or open spaces systems. Places lets you manage desk hoteling, not just conference rooms. It acknowledges personal workspaces as part of the picture. And then we have the hardware, and these are your actual Teams rooms, conference room systems. Ensures that the physical tech in room is mapped to the conference room. So we are adding a layer of visibility on. It's no longer just like, hey, I want to book a conference room. Now it's got all these peripherals and devices, making sure the Places software is making the right recommendation for the right rooms to make everybody more productive. So in full ecosystem, Places helps you plan the right space for your work and collects intent versus actual occupancy data, giving you both employees and admin of valuable feedback loops. And we will dive a little bit more into some of these things. So let's kind of go into some of the key features of Places. And, once we get into features, there is three primary categories to think of it, right? So the big portion of Microsoft Places is coordinating. So coordinating, in an essence, is the hybrid scheduling, leveraging common data signals from your Outlook, from your Teams rooms, from your Teams client calendar, and help people plan their week ahead of time. Plan with the coworkers when they're going to be in the office. You'll understand the days that you need to be, you have more people in the office, and that influences what days do you go into the office. Intelligent booking is going to help you suggest right conference room, right locations to make people much more productive with the least amount of hassle. Then we have modernize. Modernize is the offices spaces with intelligent technologies. So technology can dramatically change, improve the in-office experience, especially places where uh, that were not built for hybrid meetings. Individual desk booking will allow you to see where your closest colleagues are so you can make those educated decisions. So once again, location awareness, booking the right space, booking the right conference room, booking the desk space that is more, availability, the right location for your colleagues is going to be the modernize. And the optimized section is going to be more for the administration, for the leadership. How is my space being used, right? Like how many meetings are getting booked, get some space insights, and that's going to fuel the decisions for future space built out or doing any kind of technology change, layout change to make the rooms much more impactful for the users. So let's take a little bit deeper dive into coordinate. I just covered a high level overview of what coordinate is, but this is really the core of it. It's just like coordinating people in the office, remote, things like that. So the first thing first is building your work plan. Now this is really the foundation of places. This is where you would go into your Outlook, for example, in this screenshot over here, and you select your dates. Do you work fully remote or do you go into the office certain days a week? You can pick and choose your day, select your location. If you have multiple buildings, it'll give you option to select which building do you typically work at. And that's going to go and build your particular work plan. And once you have your work plan built, then you can actually see others. So these are like your few frequent communicators, right? So confirm your plan is first already built, which is this logo here. So you can see this user in the screenshot, Tuesday, Wednesday, he or she is set to work from home, but Thursday is the corporate location, corporate office building. And she's going to be working from building 2A. And then once you have your work plan built, then you can also see who else on that day in that building is, going to be around. And then you have your close communicators in the list. And then some other people that you may also work with are scheduled to be in office on Thursday, but they may be in a different building, different area, things like that. But the point is, this gives you a picture of not only your own schedule, but also you can coordinate with others to see if that's the most beneficial day to be in the office. The other thing here which is super neat is creating an in-person moment. So when you are creating an event in Outlook or Teams, now you can mark an event to be as an in-person event. And what that does is, in a nutshell, it's the same Outlook or invite, but now it adds a extra RSVP category of accepting in person or virtual, right? And that's going to give you more visibility into having in-person meeting where people now do have ability to kind of market like, hey, I will actually be there physically. This gives organizers a heads up on how many people will be physically present. It's a subtle feature, but it nudges your team to come in person for important events and makes it clear who intend to be there physically. So you can plan spaces accordingly, right? So if you're having a team meeting or a brainstorming session, that may be more beneficial for people to be in the office. And this way, like, people can actually market in person or virtually, as well as if you are planning to supply lunches and catering and stuff like that. Now you have a same tool is giving you headcount. No longer you have to send a Microsoft form or a spreadsheet or ask them separately. You are going to send an invite. Now that invite is giving you the additional data points that you can use to do some of those other things, like, you know, doing the catering. The other thing here, which is super cool, is planning your workday. So as we know, people are going back into the offices. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Every organization has different requirements or different suggestions. Places can give you a informed decision, a prompt essentially, that you are scheduled to be in the office on certain days, because most of your colleagues are going to be there. You're scheduled for an in-person meeting. It's going to give you that heads up that, hey, this day you are going to the office, as well as it's going to give you AI suggestions that, okay, maybe we need to book a desk, or you have a meeting schedule that you have accepted or organized with a bunch of in-person acceptance. Let's book a conference room which is closer to majority of the people, so it's convenient for most people. So it's going to give you those pop-up suggestions to booking the conference rooms, booking the desks. It also shows you, obviously, at a glance, who will be in the office, your known colleagues and stuff like that. So instead of manually coordinating a bunch of things, you can rely on Places cards to give you a guide, so you are prepped properly, right? And it's integrated right in your calendar. No longer you have to go elsewhere to go or ask people, hey, are you going to be in the office and things like that, right? Like, you have everything on your fingertips in your Outlook calendar now. And Copilot takes it one level further, right? So Copilot can give you a schedule of, hey, this is the day that you may want to consider going into the offices. It's going to look at your other colleagues' work plan. It's going to look at your meetings, look at your schedules, and then make a suggestion that this will give you a most value out of the day with reasons, right? So it's not just gonna suggest you randomly a day. It gives you a reason, and justify it, like why is that recommendation coming to me, right? Like, your key meetings, lots of your teams are gonna be in the offices, or maybe there is an event planned that is my team is joining, and then that feeds into the suggestion onto the day that I should be going into the office. So this is the intelligence layer, and again, this is gonna require that Places plus Copilot license to fuel some of this intelligent AI powered suggestions into the Places. Now let's talk about room booking a little bit, right? So there is a thing called Place Finder, and there behind the scenes there is a whole lot of stuff that needs to be done. Not topic of conversations for this webinar, but for Places to work effectively, there is a information to be uploaded into the Microsoft Places tenant. We can leverage some of your existing information. So if you already have resource accounts for rooms and things like that, and those have a right naming conventions, we can do an export of those rooms from Exchange Online, and then repurpose it to feed into Places, right? There is a information that has to be uploaded in like a certain file format, IMDF. We can use what we have today. We can also work with your architects and building planners and facilities if they have those data. If not, there is always an option to manually create things, which obviously requires a little bit of more administrative work, but nonetheless, all those options are on the table. As well as something else you probably notice here in the screenshot is the pictures, right? So we want to make sure these conference rooms are no longer just text, right? Like, I think adding the image just adds that extra layer of awareness and connections that, hey, now I can see what this room looks like. Does it have a two screens or one screen, right? Like, how many microphones, like all kinds of things, all the peripherals and stuff. Now you're able to make instead of guessing it, now you can see the pictures, and that's going to give you that comfort that, okay, you know what kind of room you're booking, right? You can see photos, floor plans, equipment information. For conference room, you search for example, if you need to a room with a surface hub or a capacity of 10, places will filter those things and only give you the right applicable rooms, right? So overall, the room finder, the place finder is the floor plan that's going to give you that visibility and suggest room based on your requirements. The other thing that we also have part of places is desk bookings. So as we have companies who are bringing people back into the offices, maybe there is a adoption of hoteling or desk sharing. If people are coming 2 days in the office, maybe the rest of the 3 days, we need to repurpose those desks because these are expensive resources for organizations, right? So desk sharing is a real thing. How do we effectively manage it? We all use calendar, Outlook, Teams. So Places just makes the natural fit to do some of this desk reservation. The interface gives you details about desks, um, of its availability. You can search desk by floor plan, nearby equipment, right? Or if you are going into the office, you have 5 people working on building A, West Wing, and you can pick a desk in close proximity to that West Wing so that you have a place to work from, as well as your peers are nearby to catch up and have that in-person collaboration. You can also see desk pools or neighborhoods. So these are different concepts when we upload that places. Wireframe or floor plan, it's a hierarchical structure. So we've got buildings, we've got sections. Under the sections, we have, so we have buildings, we have floors, we have sections. Then we have resources that could be your conference rooms, your individual desks, or desk pools. So anyway, we are kind of going into some of the deployment side of things, but there is a well structure laid out for this to appear properly to the users. Intelligent booking is also, this is part of the Copilot layer, but this is going to suggest you if you have a bunch of meeting scheduled for a day and you're going into the office, it'll look at your meetings and then it'll suggest like, hey, you have all these meetings, let's add a conference room because maybe 4 other people on those invites are also going to be. And the nice thing is you don't have to go and update each invite individually. You have this one pop-up, it's going to look at all your meetings, suggest the meeting rooms, and you just hit that book button at the bottom and you're done. Like how easy is that, right? Like instead of coordinating, I mean, that one suggestion itself can easily save you anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, right? Depending on how many meetings you have to have a space booked. So really, really powerful tool. So now we're going to talk a little bit about modernize. So like I said, the coordinate is the bigger chunk of the discussion today, but modernize is also important. So, and this kind of includes workplace presence, where you're working from in a given day, team status to show in office, if you're in the office, which location, presence information showing up on the people's contact card, the room integration, when you arrive into the room devices ensures everyone are equally participating, remote, in person, um, and then it can do like a room check-in signals and so on and so forth. So let's take look at a couple of things here. So understanding your work plan in the Places Explorer. So this is that dedicated, so you can add a Places app to your Teams client as well, or you can go to the dedicated Places web interface as well, right? Like it's the same thing that gives you access to. So it can give you help you pick locations. You can see other colleagues, what buildings you can work, who is in the office today, what spaces are available to book, what amenities do you need to be close by, right? So for employees, it's very helpful. If you're visiting a different office, you can explore where things are, who else is there. No longer you are just gonna go in blind and you have no idea where things are, especially if you're going to a new location that you've never been before or not familiar with. You can also quickly book a room, book a desk. A Places Explorer gives transparency, a quick way to just manage your workday. So, really cool from a modernized standpoint. Connecting with your team as well. So, this is again part of the modernization aspect of the Places. If I'm in the HQ today, I can set that in Places. And then team, when someone hovers over the name, it shows, okay, where is that person at? um, you know, I'm sure we all have this conversation so many times. They ask like, "Oh, is so and so in the office today? Should I go talk to them or just message them on Teams?" We also have scenarios which I'm sure you all have experienced where we all go into the office and people are still taking meetings at their desk because they don't know the other person is also sitting like 5 cubicles away from them. Or we are in the meeting, we start talking, and then you hear the voice, a couple of cubicles away. They're like, "Oh shoot, we could have just grabbed a conference room," right? So, so this eliminates those things. You can go grab a physical conference room nearby. Um, the goal here is to strengthen the team bonding, right? Which is really what the Places is after. Now let's take a look at some of the optimized categories. So this is going to be more of how you manage physical space. The leaders they need this insight on the spaces, such as utilization data, energy saving opportunities, occupancy trending. A lot of the times when we ask clients, right, like when they have when they're building new conference room, they have 10-person conference room, 20-person conference room. There is no data behind it. It's just somebody came up with a recommendation, and that's it. But now with all these intelligent capabilities and features, now we can actually really dig into it and then have a data backed decision on occupancy trending and what kind of rooms to build. Do we need to build two 20-person conference room, or do we need to make five 10-person conference room, or five 5-person conference room, like whatever the case may be? These are valuable inputs. That is what guiding the dynamic space adjustments for clients, right? With advanced knowledge and expected occupancy, leaders can now go further with their space optimization, reducing available floors on lighter days, saving energy expenditures, and improving workplace experience. So let's take a look what this looks like. This is one of many dashboards. So this is again in the Places Explorer, the web UI interface, where you can go with the appropriate permissions, see the analytics side of the Places, right? So it allows you to assess the inventory and attributes of your spaces by building, by floor, listing how many conference rooms you have, how many desks you have, how many desk pools, which one has what equipment, etc. It's almost like an interactive directory for your physical spaces. It also indicates if you have enough data, like from room sensors or using information to measure actual occupancy versus booking. And this one is kind of hard to see, but I'll point it out in the other one. There is a actual versus intent versus actual, right? So if the room was intended for 10-person, what is the occupancy sensor? What is the data telling you? Is it truly being used by 10 people, or is it used by 2 people? That's a wasted space, right? With these analytics, you can spot areas to improve or upgrade. For example, if a floor has very low usage, maybe you repurpose it. Or if a room has no booking, perhaps it's not meeting needs, right? Maybe there is an issue with the room. This is actionable facility intelligence, turning raw data into decisions about your real estate. So very, very powerful. Oh, here it is. So understanding utilization, actionable insights for each spaces or buildings. Now you can see how many people said they'd come and how many people badges or checked in happened, right? So you can actually go to that point and actually see if people are, when they're booking desks and stuff like that, are they actually checking in out those places, or these are just one of those ghost booking where people book it and they never show it, right? The actionable insights with Copilot can make suggestions on consider reducing to a 4-person room, right? They're underused compared to the demand for 8-person rooms. It'll make all these suggestions for you. So down below in the building utilization, room utilization, and desk pool, these are the actual, yeah. So attendance versus actual. So people were anticipating 250, we had 150, right? So the reservation rate versus utilization rate, reservation rate versus, so this is going to give you like how many people are actually booking it versus using it. And then again, like I said, like Copilot will give you suggestions, or again, obviously you have all the data to take those data to your leadership to make necessary adjustments to the conference rooms. Auto release policies. This is amazing. So many times when people make a reservation and they don't show up, it happens all the time, right? Like we all know that. If someone books a conference room but they don't show up and no one checks in to the conference rooms, the system now, we can create these auto release policies to automatically free up those rooms after a grace period, right? And we can configure what that grace period is going to be like so that somebody else can reuse that space. This reduces wasted spaces and frustration of seeing a room booked on the calendar but sitting empty. I have experienced that personally many times. I wanted to pick a room, somebody else had a room, and somebody else had a meeting on the room, and I had to go take a call from a different room, privacy room. Maybe it's not the room I wanted because the one I wanted was already booked. Then I look into that room and nobody's there, right? Very, very frustrating. It's very simple, effective way to increase room availability, right? Like the ghost booking is a real problem. I'm sure we all run into that all the time, but this auto release policy, not only the conference rooms, but it can also be applied to desk spaces, desk pools, so on and so forth. And we kind of touched on this already. Based on your utilizations and analytics, Copilot is going to make recommendations, right? So if you have a complex chart or occupancy trending is all over the place, you can ask Copilot to summarize or highlight key points. Like what changed this quarter? You can go and look at do some trend analysis. It's like having your own data analyst, right? It's just feeding you all the interpreting all this numerical complex chart into an actionable, simple output for you. So again, this requires the Copilot license alongside with Places to get the full capability of it. So just to kind of bring it back home, Places we talked about, coordinate productivity. This is kind of where your work plan is, your in-person, your hybrid RSVPs, your place finders, desk booking, quick booking, recommendations, team guidance. All those things are building blocks of coordinate. This is how we coordinate, make sure people are talking to each other, they're in the office together. So the days you do go into the office is the best day with all the data points we have. The modernize intelligently is the floor plan, the images of the conference rooms, right? The presence, the amenities, the signals, the room check-ins, all this technical aspect that makes the whole thing modernize and adds a layer of intelligence on top. Optimizing effectively includes the feature just we just covered, right? Space analytics, auto release, big one, data integrations, having Copilot create a summary and suggestions on what to do, what are the trending, how can I make this more efficient, and then make those necessary adjustments to make it more effective for the leaders as well as the users, right? So bringing it back all together. Um, I think I have one more. No. So just to round it all up, right? So there is a ton of potential, lots of power in Microsoft Places, especially if you are in a situation where you are bringing users back into the office. We can help. So whether we want to engage into some sort of workshop just to really do a deep dive on how this is done, we can do so. We can do proof of value, pilot type deployment of Places at a specific locations or locations. We can work on designing and planning a full-scale rollout for your organizations. If you have, the interest to roll out Microsoft Places and have those space insights and analytics to fuel the decision for future room builds. Um, Production deployment, we can obviously do that from design plan into production. Typically, that's the approach we take. We go into workshops. These are all sequential order, but if you are in a different stage in your Places journey, we can certainly parachute into any specific milestones and helping you. Lastly, we can do advisory support, training, ongoing optimizations, things like that. So feel free to reach out. We are here to support end to end from initial strategy to a successful deployment. And then with that, we will wrap this one up. And I want to thank all of you for joining today's webinar, and we will see you in the next one. Have a good day.